Welcome back to our Essential Vocabulary series. This is video 2, and today we are going to continue with another set of high-frequency Cambridge books that you absolutely need for IELTS reading and listening. In the first video, we focused on the most fundamental topic-based vocabulary about nature, habitats, and etc. Today, we are going one step deeper and talking about other words, and we will analyze words that Cambridge uses repeatedly in more complex passages and fast-paced audios. These are the words that usually cause misunderstandings in IELTS reading questions and the words that IELTS paraphrase heavily in listening. If you want to score 7, 7.5, or even 8 plus, recognizing these words instantly is a major advantage. So as always, I will explain what each word means, how it appears in real Cambridge tests, common phrases, and the traps you must avoid in both reading and listening tests. Make sure to watch until the end because every example builds on the previous one, and by the end of the lesson, you will see how these words connect across different topics. So, all right, let's just jump into today's list. We will start with the topic of recycling, as you can see here. Just 1 minute. Okay, we can get started. So recycling. So reduce, reuse, and recycle. I hope you know the meanings of this one. Reduce, to decrease something. Reuse, to make use of something again. And recycle. Recycle is like to manufacture it again, kind of something like this. Raw materials, this is again one of the most common ones. It is the basic unprocessed materials. Like you can see its translation in Azerbaijan language as well. So it is very common in IELTS writing task 1 and also reading and listening parts. So compost or composting, the process of decomposing organic waste into nutrition-rich soil for gardening and agriculture. Like we use them as fertilizers, okay? In this case, they're compost and we are doing composting there, okay? So most probably you know this one. This is very easy. Landfill, okay? Landfill. So you can see its translation here. It is a site where you can see waste materials, okay? Typically used as a method of waste management. So you can remember it like this. Land is full with, for example, litter and etc. So this is landfill. Hazardous waste. So this is again one of the most common ones. So it means harmful, okay? Something that poses a risk. We have already covered this one in our video 1. It means pose a risk. Which means like the cause a risk. Hazardous, so it is harmful with waste that pose a risk to human health or the environment and etc. Waste management, most probably you know the meaning of the word of manage, like to control something. And waste management will mean like to control waste. For example, let's look at its explanation. The collection, transportation, and disposal or recycling of waste materials, as you can see here. Then waste collection, that's pretty easy, so I'm not going to explain this one. Groundwater, this is very easy. So ground and water, yes. So beneath the earth, this means ground, and water is water, so the meaning is here. Inclination, so the process of burning waste, okay? Do not forget, it is also one of the most common ones. Rubbish, trash, litter, and garbage, they are synonyms of each other, so they are terms used to describe unwanted or discarded materials. To dump rubbish, so you can see its meaning, or we can say discard waste, like the act of discarding waste materials in an inappropriate or illegal manner. So it is very important, like in an inappropriate or illegal. For example, the government doesn't let, let's say, discard waste into the display. So when you do it, you dump rubbish in this case. Our dependence on fossil fuels, dependence, this is the noun form of the word of depend, or the synonym is, not like the synonym of this is reliance. And fossil fuel, we have already discussed it in our lesson 1. Carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. So release, we have already covered this word, and I said that instead of this, you can say emit, for example, carbon dioxide. And this is the passive voice, okay? So Let's continue. Global warming. So this is very easy. And we have the word of inevitable. We have also covered this one in our lesson one, which means if something cannot be avoided, it means it is inevitable, okay? Cut back on. So cut back on to reduce the amount of something. So cut back on carbon emissions to reduce carbon emissions. So according to means when it comes to their ideas, okay, according to. And proponent, we have opponent and proponent. So, opponents are those who disagree with us, and proponents are those who agree with us. So, who advocate for a particular idea of or a plan, as you can see. Reverse, slow down. You can see the meanings of them, like slow down to decrease the speed of something, and the reverse is like to stop this one and not to let it happen. The melting of the poles, that is very easy. Just a pole, what is the meaning of pole? So we have the northern pole and southern pole, okay? So you polar bears, do you know this one? Polar bears, for example. Volcanic explosions. So explosion, it is the noun form of the word of explode. Okay. Like you can see its meaning here, eruptions from volcans that release ash, gases, and etc. Now, the renewable energy, we have non-renewable energy and renewable energy. So we can this can also be replaced with the word of sustainable energy. So solar energy, wind energy, hydroelectric energy, or tidal energy. These ones are the types of it. So permanent. The opposite of it is temporary, okay? Temporary and permanent. So permanent is lasting, okay? It will be able to continue for a long time period, like permanent solution. Precipitation, it is a synonym of rainfall. You can see its translation as well. This is one of the most commonly paraphrased ones. Please keep it in your mind, okay? Human induced, so it means something that is caused by human activities. So let's continue then. Biodegradable, okay. When a substance is able to be broken down by microorganisms into basic elements like carbon dioxide and water, for example, plastics. This is biodegradable. So because it is impossible to, decompose into different parts in the long term, that's why it is non-biodegradable. And some elements are biodegradable. So you can see its translation as well. Bottle bill, so it is law, so bill like law requiring deposits on drink containers. So like you can make use of this topic in the topic of environment when you write an essay or in your speaking and etc. This law may keep people from littering and or filling up their landfill. We have already covered the word of landfill. Okay. To bury, like it's the meaning is to put waste beneath the earth's surface. Okay. So it's noun form is like this. So you can see its translation. Composting, we have already covered this one. Conserve, I have explained this one in our previous lesson, like maintain something. Okay. In our language, we have conserva, so you can keep it in your mind like this. Decompose, I have already explained. Break down into component parts. So, decomposition is an organic process necessary for the continuation of the life. Plastic cannot decompose, for example. That's why it is non-biodegradable. If something can decompose, in this case, it's biodegradable. Keep it in your mind like this. Dump, we have dump rubbish. So if you remember it, like it is like an illegal activity. And dump, you can see its translation, an open unsanitary site for junk. So do you remember the word of like junk food? It means like sometimes fast food, processed food, and etc. Actually, the translation looks like this one: recover something. The creation of energy recovery by burning soiled waste materials. Okay, recover something, like the meaning is here. Fly tipping. Again, illegal living things that you do not want next to a road, in fields, in rivers. Like it is like the kind of dumping rubbish, garbage. This one we have already covered. Groundwater we have covered this one. Yeah. It is the same in our languages as well. Organic material consists of vegetable matter, so we have this one as food as well. So it provides nutrition for plants and allows soil to better hold water. So we have already discussed this word. Landfill. We have discussed this one as well. I'm just going to choose the most used ones for you. Already covered these ones. Solid waste. Yeah, we have the word of solid. What does it mean? All solid or semi-solid. We have like liquid, okay? And we have also solid. Like it can be trash, garbage, yard waste, industrial waste, and etc. So you can see its translation as well. Management, reduction, trash, disposal. I have already explained this one. Disposal, like remove or destroy something. Waste disposal, like to remove waste, like removing or destroying of waste. Okay. Worm casting, or we can call it like castings, undigested material, soil or bacteria excreted by a worm. So worm, as you can see. So you can see its translation here. Let's continue with the topic of water. We have already covered this word. Evaporation, yeah, the process by which water changes from a liquid to a gas or vapor. Condensation, the process by which water vapor into the air, like from water. Actually, condensation is like the opposite one, I think. Like from the air into liquid. If it is from liquid to air, it is evaporation. If it is from air to liquid, it is condensation. Well is a deep hole, okay? So the meaning is here. We have also a dam here. You can see dam. It is a barrier, okay, constructed to hold back water and raise its levels, especially in order to generate electricity or water supply. So they have some barriers like this. Then. Contamination, we have already covered in our lesson one. It is pollution, contaminated, polluted. And we had one more word, I don't remember, so you can see it in our previous video. Contaminant, yes, contaminant and pollutant. They are the synonyms of each other. Shortage of something, deficit of something. A situation where there is not enough something. The synonym of enough was sufficient. When something is insufficient, there is the shortage of it or deficit of it. Drought, it looks like the word of dry, it is the noun form of it. A prolonged period of long rainfall. What was the synonym of rainfall? Do you remember this one? Precipitation, leading to a shortage of water. What was the synonym of shortage? Lack or maybe deficit. Flood, an overflow of water. So most probably you know this one. A rise in sea levels, very easy. Polar ice caps melting. So ice cap. So you can see its meaning here, ice cap. Okay, keep it in your mind. It is in the polar areas. Runoff or groundwater, we have already covered this one. So runoff is the flow of water that occurs when excess means too much. Do you remember excessive use of something from rain or other sources? Like they can be taken as synonyms. Conservation. So conservation, the protection. Conserve is protect and preserve. Conservation is protection and preservation. Species, like these ones are kinds, types. Distribution and diversity. We have already discussed diversity, like variety. Like keep synonyms in your mind, okay? The geographic area over which species are found, distribution, and the variety of them, like diversity. Fishing industry, predator, we have covered it in lesson one. We have prey and predators prey on prey. Marine, we have already discussed this one as well. It is aquatic, and we have also terrestrial. This is the opposite of this, living on land. Endangered, we have covered like under risk. like threatened with extinction. In lesson one, you can find this. Threat, like it is a risk. Habitat, the place that animals live. Decline, species, you know these ones. Migration, the seasonal movement of animals. It's the same in our language as well. Overfishing, like overfish. You know the meaning of overfish, like when they like let's say they catch too many fish. In this case, it is overfishing. Okay, endangered species. Selective, like selective. Overcome the problem, like to solve the problem, to let's say mitigate the problem, mitigate. So here, settler, for example, like people, like the new residents of the area, okay? So explorers, adventurers, like you can see this one, adventurers, sorry. Remote, unexplored, undiscovered. Places that are distant or remote, have not been explored before or have not yet been found. Extreme environments, when it is too hot or too cold, it is extreme. Preservation, we have the carbon footprint. It is the amount of carbon dioxide emissions produced by human activities. You can calculate your carbon footprint using the internet. Preservation, you know this one, we have already covered this one. It is like protection of something, cultural identity, national identity. National identity, like the act of making, protecting the distinct characteristics, traditions, or customs of a particular culture. So we need to preserve our cultural identity, for example. Globalization, like today's world is globalized world because like all businesses, cultures, and societies become interconnected. It means like connected to each other, and interdependent. It means they depend on each other on a global scale. So responsible tourism, this is very important, like tourism that is mindful of the environmental, cultural, and social impacts. For example, while talking about the ways to solve the problems that tourism leads to, you can say that responsible tourism can solve this problem. So they pay attention to this type of details. Then we have culture shock, like when you visit a new country and like you observe an unfamiliar culture, way of life, and set of attitudes, then you experience culture shock there. Ecotourism, responsible tourism. This is the way to solve most of the environmental problems. Sustainability, sustainable